from the Canisius College presents Moving Forward, Building Leaders for the Future. And we're about to check out Jeff Johnson. He has a keynote speech. And there's also wonderful educational, health, and career opportunities that you can check out here as well. Downtown Buffalo at the Niagara Buffalo Convention Center with Jazzy T, bringing it to you, People Station 93.7 WBOK.
Leaders that strategize more than inspire. I want you to be the kind of leaders that think pragmatically before you think inspirationally. See, there's nothing wrong with inspiring somebody with a strategy that you've created. What's wrong is inspiring somebody with an idea that you didn't think was valuable enough to come up with a strategy for. How many times y'all meet people and it's big talk, right? Yo, man, I'm about to start this business. I'm about to change the game. I'm about to be this. I'm about to be that. And then you see them the next week, and you be like, "What you doing, man?" "I'm about to." "I'm about to" is the key word that lets you know you're not a leader. I'm about to. Because leaders will tell you, "I'm doing." Leaders will tell you, "I'm going." Leaders will tell you, "I went." Leaders will tell you, "I did." And we've got to be in a place, again, with our language where it's reflective of our action. And our action as leaders is never about simply talking. Why? Because the people that we lead deserve more than our inspiration and motivation. What are you all going to lead, and how are you all going to lead it? Will you be the leaders within areas of technology? Because I'm so tired of seeing young people with bad technological consumption diets. Technology is nothing more than information that we consume. Outside of the very inventions that are used to be able to help distribute information, most technology is about how do we consume content. And many of us have bad consumption diets. That's why we got dumb kids with smartphones. I'm confused about how any child doesn't know anything. I have a 13-year-old daughter by the name of Madison who is, without question, the absolute, total, and complete most beautiful thing on earth. Don't tell my sons I said that. Madison has an iPhone. Madison has a MacBook. Madison is not allowed to ask me anything because she knows if she says, "Daddy, is it true that all of the planets that they thought were planets are not still planets?" She already knows it's over. Madison, I need a 5-paragraph report by the end of the week telling me what are the planets that are no longer planets, and are there new planets? Who discovered them? When did they discover them? And what are the implications of those discoveries? So now she's got an attitude. But she's got an attitude because she was lazy. And she was lazy because all she had to do, she didn't have to get up from where she was. Because unless she's doing homework, the phone doesn't leave her hand. And enter into Google the very question that she asked me.
You could take turns if you want to.
And as opposed to coming with me with critical thoughts saying, "Dad, I saw this, and here's what I'm confused about and concerned about. I saw that this person has said this, but this person said this." But I believe, see, real leaders consume content in a way that it empowers them to be critically thinking. See, there's nothing worse than robots. And technology has made us robots because it's given us access to other people's research that we don't effectively challenge. Because we'll go to a site just bad, like Wikipedia, that's just got questionable information, and be like, "Do you realize that this is real?" And it's like somebody's grandmother who ain't gone nowhere updated the site. You understand what I'm saying? Are you prepared to be critically thinking leaders that are masters of technology and not slaves to it? If you've got the ability to update your Twitter and Facebook page 35 times a day, then you clearly have the understanding to know where scholarships are available for you to go to college. If you've got the mastery to be able to figure out how to be able to post a picture that nobody should see. Some of y'all be posting pictures nobody should see. What's questionable is why you even think. Have you ever looked at somebody's post and be like, I'm confused what made them think that looked good? No, really. No, I'm serious. Have you ever, like, it's always the bathroom shot. The bathroom mirror shot. It's the bathroom mirror shot where I'm trying to show somebody else how nice my butt is. But it's not. And not only is it not, it's inappropriate. So that little whack butt shot is going to be what denies you from getting into the college of your choice when a college admissions officer who is trying to find out, do we select this student over this student, is going to take the one that has posted on their Facebook page something that's consistent with where they want to go, then they out of shape, nasty, naked body. Since y'all are uncomfortable, how many people know somebody that got one of them nasty bathroom shots? Thank you. Be masters of technology in immersing yourself into new directions of creation, whether it's devices that help us spread information or devices that help us within society be able to be more functional, or ensure that you have 5 websites that you go to on a daily basis that feed you information about where you want to go. So if I want to go into science, I need to be on 5 websites daily that feed me to tell me about what's going on within the worlds that I claim I want to be in. Who are the people that are innovating? Who are the people that are writing incredibly prolific new ideas around technology? Who are the people that are creating associations and organizations that I ultimately want to be in? Who are the people that are writing checks for students that look like me to go to the colleges I want to go to study what it is I want to study? If it's music, the same thing. If it's the arts, if it's math, if it's English, if it's the humanities, whatever it is, 5 websites daily that you will check to consume information that feed you to make you strong in the areas that you want to go into. Because there's nothing worse than brilliant students that are ill-equipped. And our colleges and universities are being flooded daily with brilliant, lazy students that have at their disposal every piece of information ever created, but are only accessing a fraction of it. Can you be culturally competent and proud enough to be who you are no matter where you are? To contribute to the global community? Can you be willing to be a critically thinking leader that utilizes technology not just from the standpoint of STEM training, but from the standpoint of consuming? But lastly, will you be courageous enough to do what previous generations have not done? One of the things that young leaders have to know more than anything else is the difference between old people and elders. Would you like to know? Old people, they old. They've been here a long time, and most of the time, they in the way. Say that again. And see, only the old people in here right now are offended. Old people are old. They've been here a long time, and most of the time, this is critical, you know this, they are in the way. Taking up space. Useless. And blocking you. Elders understand that their time on this earth has not been solely for their own benefit, but that their wisdom would be able to be passed on to a younger generation, that generation would not be destined to repeat the mistakes of the previous. Elders love young people. Old people hate young people. How many of y'all know some old people? Old people, elders rather, are supposed to be revered. Old people are supposed to be killed. Not literally. So I know where some of y'all live. I don't mean go get no people. I don't want y'all rolling on nobody. Damn, grandma got last night. rolled up on the set. She didn't have her piece with her. I mean, figuratively. If they're in leadership positions they don't need to be in, vote them out. If they're in places of honor that they have not worked in the last 2 years to deserve, get them out of the way. Begin to flex your own leadership call. See, because even the Bible says, and I know that there's a division between church and state, but I don't go to your school. So, even the Bible says, just as a historical reference, not a religious proclamation, that there were two individuals that created the difference and the personification of elder and old people. How many of you all have ever heard of the story of David and Goliath? Right, wonderful. Many of you have, some of you haven't. For those of you that haven't, David was a young guy that rolled up on the set and beat this giant. Right? But the story's a little bit more in depth than that. At the time, the children of Israel were on the battlefield preparing to fight their sworn enemies called the Philistines. And the Philistines was big. And they had this big dude named Goliath, who was the OG, roll up on the set and start cursing out the children of Israel. Y'all ain't nothing, your God ain't nothing, what's up? Pastor, all right? Then, he didn't do it just for one day. Or two. And then to make insult to injury, he said, look, all y'all ain't gotta fight. Just bring out one. And if I lose to him, our people will bow down to your people forever. Nobody moved. King Saul and the whole army sat back, shaking in their boots. David was in the fields, tending the animals of his dad. His dad was like, look, man, I want you to go check on your brothers, take them a chicken box and iPad, and roll up on the front lines and make sure they good. He rolled up on the set, everybody is shaking. He's like, who is this dude? But that's the position that a lot of you all are in. Old people who should be fighting battles for you are punks. And they fail to address when schools aren't doing what they need to. They fail to address when cities don't have the resources to go to young people that are necessary. They fail to speak out about youth violence, making young people who aren't in gangs susceptible to violence that they shouldn't have to be susceptible to. They don't push to be able to fight the battles that they should be fighting and put you in a position where you have to fight. So David was like, look, I ain't scared of this dude. What's up? And the king, you know you a punk when you let somebody else fight for you and then you try to give them your weapons. Hey, dude, if your weapons work, you will be out there using them. I don't need your stuff. I got my own stuff. And David was willing to fight and kill Goliath, shifting the anointing that had already been put on him to say that he was already a leader when he was in the field. See, David understood that even if I come from Buffalo, New York, I ain't got to be from Chicago or LA or New York City to be a leader. I can come from Buffalo or anywhere smaller and still kill the giant. But then Saul got scared. He was like, yo, this young cat might take my spot. And began to hate on him to a point where he ultimately got killed, trying to destroy the very leader he should have been mentoring. That's an old person. Moses was an elder. Moses was like, look, this little young cat Joshua coming up all this swag. He don't know nothing, but I'm going to teach him. See, because real elders know where they've been. Moses like, son, I done stood on the top suite, and God sent me a text. 10 of them. AT&T messed up my service, my iPhone broke, I got a new one, he sent me 10 more, player. I'm not confused about who I am. I'm not confused about my call. I'm not confused about my life. I am comfortable enough with what I have been given that I can take every young, aggressive young person that I see, protect them and teach them and guide them, that when it's their time to lead, they can. So that when Moses died, the Bible said that then someone was sent to go say, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now Joshua, come and lead the people. The beauty of it was not just that Moses was willing to mentor him. See, real elders know that they are preparing you to go places they'll never go. See, real elders, how many of y'all have ever had an idea and you ask somebody old, be like, that don't make no sense? Right? They don't make no sense because they can't see what you see. See, elders would say, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to help you get there. Yeah. That technology you talking about don't make no sense to me, but baby, what you need? I have no idea the words that are even coming out of your mouth, but it sounds good. How can we make it happen? See, that's what an elder says. But an elder also says, wait a minute, while I may not be able to help you, I know somebody that can. And what I'm going to do is put you in a place where you're surrounded by people that will be able to lift you up further than I can, that you can take our family places that I was never able to go. And so real elders is like Big Mama that didn't never graduate from high school, but she's been saving for you to go to college since before you was born. See, that's a real elder. Not just those who have big titles and positions. And we got to get to a place where we're prepared to move old people and honor elders. But what made David brilliant was that the only reason he was gangster about fighting Goliath is because he had killed a lion and a bear in private. So many of us won't get the hookup and we ain't done nothing. And then you get to prime time and you get smacked. Only reason David won is not because of his aggressiveness, it was because of his skill. Are you all prepared to work while nobody is watching, so that when the eyes of the world are on you, you can shine? See, because real leadership in 2013 is not about your title, it's not about how much money you make, it's not about where you go to school, it's not about how many degrees are after your name. All of those things help contribute to what you have the capacity to do. But real leadership, whether it's in the business field or in science or in teaching or as a parent, which is the ultimate form of leadership, is what do you do? What do you create? What legacy do you leave? Because that is what determines who you actually are. As I take my seat, Martin Luther King said in the drum major speech, drum major instinct speech, which was his big speech about what kind of leadership we needed. He talked about his own funeral. And he said, when I die, if you have somebody talk, tell them not to talk a long time. Tell them not to mention all of the awards that I've gotten, because they don't matter. Tell them not to mention all of the degrees that I had before the age of 30, because it's not important. It doesn't matter that I was the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. All of the countries that I've been to and all of the audiences that I've spoken in front of don't mean a thing. But if you could tell them that I was a drum major, tell them I was a drum major for peace. Tell them I was a drum major for justice. Tell them I was a drum major for righteousness. And then he spoke of a song, one of his favorites, by Mahalia Jackson, that says, if I could help somebody as I pass along, if I could cheer somebody with a word or a song, then my living would not be in vain. And I would just ask you, what will you do to serve humanity, that every gift, ability, and opportunity you've been given would be repaid? Because as I sit down, I don't care if you like my speech. Not for real, I don't care at all. Not a little bit, not, I don't live here. I got a flight. What I care about is what are you going to do? And where are you willing to be like Tyrone? Somebody's supposed to say, who's Tyrone? Come on. Tyrone was a little kid from New York City that used to visit his grandmother in Natchez, Mississippi during the summer. And when they're down in Natchez, they would go to the store once a week to get what she needed to cook or to clean. And they went to the store, and the store owner, Mr. Jones, saw Tyrone come and say, hey, Tyrone, good to see you. it's been a long time. Why don't you come back here and grab a handful of candy? Tyrone, with a Harlem swag, looked at him like, man, I don't know you. You get it. His grandmother, Miss Jackson, pulled Tyrone by the side, said, boy, what's the matter with you? I taught you to be more polite than that, beyond that. You're a young man and you now need to begin to use your own hands to get what you want. What's wrong with you? Tyrone looked at his grandmother as seriously as a 7-year-old can look at an 82-year-old. Said, Big Mama, his hand's bigger than my hands. So if he puts his hand in the candy dish, I get more candy. Because it's all about whose hands it's in. See, in my hands, a football is worth about $40, but in the hands of the Baltimore Ravens, it was worth a Super Bowl championship because it's all about whose hands it's in. In my hands, a basketball is worth about $45, but in the hands of the Lakers, it ain't gonna be worth nothing this season. It don't work in nobody's hands. It ain't working. In my hands, a tennis racket is worth about $100, but in the hands of the Williams sisters, it brought every Grand Slam championship to 2 young black girls from Los Angeles because it's all about whose hands it's in. In my hands, a pencil is what I use to write my notes for the weeks, but in the hands of Langston Hughes, it was used to write prose that said, I too am America. I'm the darker brother. They send me to the kitchen when company comes, but I just laugh and eat well and grow strong because one day I'll sit at the table when company comes and they won't dare say anything to me then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and they'll be ashamed. In my hands, a book is what I use to get empowerment, but in the hands of African American and African leaders like Sheikh Anta Diop and Ivan Van Sertima and W.E.B. Du Bois and Ida B. Wells, it was used to be able to create prose that made black folks proud of who they were, no matter what room they were in, without ever feeling like they had to down anybody else. But the question is, what will you do with your hands? Will you use them to create a brilliant college career? Will you use them to master a field of study, to be able to create what never created before you? Will you use them to touch each other and inspire each other? Will you use them to love and not hate? Will you use them to build new institutions? Or will you sit on them and waste every gift you've been given? Because when it's all said and done, it doesn't matter if you like what I have to say or not. It matters, what will you do with your hands?
What's up? This is your man, Jeff Johnson. You listening to my girl, Jazzy T, in the afternoon. If you not listening to her, you ain't listening to nobody. It's WBLK 93.7.